Dr. Emily Richardson pressed her palm against the reinforced glass of her laboratory window, watching as the massive Zarkax vessels descended through Earth's atmosphere. Their angular forms, gleaming with an otherworldly purple-black metal, blocked out the morning sun over Manhattan. The sight reminded her of a documentary she'd once watched about solar eclipses, except this darkness carried the weight of extinction. Dr. Richardson, her eye assistant's voice remained steady. The quantum defense grid is showing green across all nodes. Power fluctuations are within expected parameters and appearing normal to external scans. She allowed herself a small smile. 10 years of preparation, hidden in plain sight beneath the world's power infrastructure. Every nuclear plant, every hydroelectric dam, every solar farm, all of them components of Earth's invisible shield. The Zarkax would be looking for traditional defensive systems, orbital platforms, ground-based missile arrays, electromagnetic barriers. They wouldn't expect to find nothing at all. The main display lit up with a priority message from the United Nations Security Council. The Empire's ultimatum was being broadcast simultaneously across every communication device on Earth. Peoples of Earth, you stand before the might of the Zarkax Empire. 317 species have joined our dominion. You will be the 318th. Submit within 48 Earth hours, or face extinction. This is not a negotiation. Supreme Commander Valfor's hologram appeared above Times Square, his serpentine features twisted in what passed for confidence among his species. The same image was undoubtedly hovering above every major city on the planet. Emily watched the crowds below her window. Instead of panic, she saw phones raised to record the announcement. Some tourists even posed for selfies with the warships in the background. Her secure line chimed. "They're right on schedule." General Marcus Hayes's gruff voice filled her office. "Operation Prometheus is a go. How's our coverage looking?" Emily pulled up the global map, dots of green light pulsing at strategic points across every continent. "The grid is ready, General. They won't detect it unless they know exactly what to look for. And since they've never encountered quantum-entangled defense systems before, they'll be looking for the wrong things entirely." Hayes finished. "The Security Council is about to deliver our response. You might enjoy watching this part." Emily switched her feed to the UN chamber. Ambassador Catherine Reynolds stood at the podium, her gray hair and gentle grandmother's appearance masking one of the sharpest minds in international diplomacy. She adjusted her glasses and spoke with a warm smile that would be broadcast to every Empire ship in orbit. "Supreme Commander Valfor, humanity is honored by your attention to our humble world. We request the full terms of surrender in writing, as per our diplomatic protocols. Additionally, we would be delighted to host you and your senior staff for dinner this evening to discuss the details. We have found that sharing a meal can facilitate understanding between cultures." Emily could practically feel the confusion radiating from the Empire's ships. In their 3,000-year history of conquest, no species had ever responded to their ultimatum with dinner invitations. Her quantum tablet buzzed with updates from around the world. Civilian ships were already launching from hidden facilities, each carrying a piece of humanity's real response. The Empire's sensors would detect them as refugee vessels, packed with frightened humans fleeing Earth. Valfor would see exactly what he expected to see: a cowardly species running from superior might. Team leads report ready status. Her eye updated. "Dr. Richardson, shall I initiate Protocol Omega?" Emily took one last look at the warships looming over her city. The Empire had conquered hundreds of worlds, stolen their technologies, and used them to subjugate others. They expected Earth to follow the same pattern: initial defiance, failed resistance, and ultimately submission. They had no idea they'd just walked into humanity's trap. "Execute Protocol Omega," she commanded, "and send my compliments to Ambassador Reynolds. I believe she's about to host the most important dinner party in human history." Deep beneath the Earth's surface, in hardened bunkers and hidden laboratories, humanity's real defense grid hummed to life. The Empire had given Earth 48 hours to surrender. In less than half that time, they would learn why they should have fled while they had the chance. Major James Maverick Cooper drifted in the observation module of the International Space Station, watching the greatest evacuation in human history unfold beneath him. Thousands of ships, ranging from sleek corporate vessels to retrofitted cargo haulers, broke through Earth's atmosphere in seemingly random patterns. To the Empire's sensors, it would look like pure chaos. Panic-stricken humans fleeing their doomed world. Status report on Operation Stardust. He spoke into his encrypted comlink. The augmented reality display in his retinal implant highlighted each launching vessel with a soft green glow, tracking their predetermined flight paths. Phase 1 proceeding as planned. Major Lieutenant Jessica Myers responded from her station in Houston's Underground Command Center. The Empire's destroyers are maintaining their positions. They're watching the show, just like we predicted. Cooper allowed himself a grim smile as he tracked a particular vessel, the Northern Star, breaking through the cloud cover over Seattle. From the outside, it appeared to be a civilian cruise ship, hastily converted to escape Earth's coming destruction. In reality, its holds contained enough microscopic hunters to devour half the Empire's fleet. Our friends up there are transmitting exactly what we want them to see, Myers continued. Their communications indicate they're actually amused by our cowardice. Quantum intercepts suggest they're calling us the fastest surrender they've ever witnessed. A massive Zarkax dreadnought passed overhead, its purple-black hull temporarily blocking out the sun. Cooper instinctively held his breath, though he knew the station's quantum camouflage made it invisible to their scans. Dr. Richardson's technology had transformed the ISS into humanity's perfect observation post, hiding in plain sight above the enemy fleet. Package delivery status, Cooper asked, watching as the civilian ships began their careful dispersal across the solar system. Each vessel's course had been plotted months in advance, designed to look random while ensuring maximum coverage for what was coming next. The Sydney Morning Herald just launched their refugee ship, Myers reported, amusement clear in her voice. The newspaper had converted their orbital printing facility into a carrier for Dr. Richardson's nanite production arrays. They're broadcasting distress signals about evacuating their journalists. Very convincing performance. Cooper's display highlighted a cluster of ships emerging from the Amazon basin, their heat signatures masked by the surrounding rainforest until the moment of launch. Right on schedule, the Brazilian evacuation fleet joined the growing stream of vessels fleeing Earth. Each ship carried a piece of humanity's response, fragments of a weapon the Empire wouldn't see until it was far too late. Sir, Myers' voice turned serious. The Empire's forward command ship is requesting a status update from their infiltration probes. This was the moment they'd prepared for. If the Empire discovered what the civilian ships really carried, the entire operation would be compromised. Cooper activated his neural link to the station's quantum computing core. Through his augmented vision, he watched as the Empire's probe signals encountered the false data streams they'd prepared. Sending the prepared response package now. Let them see what they expect to see. Panicked humans, stripped-down ships, and lots of civilian cargo. The Empire's vessels maintained their positions, their weapons powered down. Supreme Commander Valfor's voice echoed through the intercepted channels. Let them run. Each ship that flees is one less we must destroy when their time expires. Their cowardice makes our victory even easier. If only they knew that each fleeing ship was a carrier, a weapon, a piece of humanity's true defense. The History Channel's vessel alone contained enough autonomous fabrication systems to build an entire drone fleet. National Geographic's documentary crew carried quantum disruptors disguised as camera equipment. All packages showing green, Myers reported as the last of the scheduled launches cleared the atmosphere. Phase 1 complete. Time to initiate Phase 2. Cooper took one last look at Earth below, its cities still gleaming in the darkness, its people going about their lives as if the end of the world wasn't hovering above them. In less than 24 hours, the Empire would learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their ships. It was their ability to make their enemies see exactly what they expected to see. "Initiate Phase 2, Hooper commanded. "Let's show them what running away really looks like." Lieutenant Colonel Ashley Martinez stood in the heart of the Mariana Command Center, 7 miles beneath the Pacific Ocean's surface. The facility's quantum-shielded walls held back the crushing pressure of the deep, while advanced thermal masking systems made it invisible to the Empire's sensors. Around her, rows of technicians monitored streams of data from the scattered civilian fleet. "Nanite swarms report ready status," her operations officer, Captain Ryan Peters, announced from his station. "All carrier vessels have reached their designated coordinates." Martinez watched the main holographic display as thousands of green dots representing Earth's refugee ships settled into position. Each vessel now orbited a different Empire installation, looking for all the world like frightened humans seeking shelter near the galaxy's supposed superpower. "Begin transmission of activation codes," she ordered, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "Sequence Alpha through Delta." The command center hummed with activity as encoded quantum signals reached out to the civilian fleet. The History Channel's vessel, supposedly carrying priceless artifacts to safety, released its first wave of microscopic hunters. The Amazon Prime delivery ships, scattered across 3 sectors, began dispensing their cargo of self-replicating machines. Even the McDonald's corporate evacuation vessel, carrying what the Empire believed to be food supplies, unleashed swarms of nanites disguised as routine maintenance drones. "First wave penetration confirmed," Peters reported, excitement creeping into his professional tone. "The Empire's hull defenses aren't detecting the infiltration. Their own repair systems are actually helping our nanites breach their outer armor." Martinez allowed herself a small smile. The Empire's arrogance had always been their weakness. They conquered hundreds of species through overwhelming force, never considering that true strength might come in forms they couldn't see. Her secure console chimed with an incoming transmission from Admiral William Drake. The hologram showed him seated at an elaborate dinner table, sharing a meal with Supreme Commander Valfor and his senior staff at the United Nations. "Colonel," Drake's voice carried the perfect mix of casual conversation and military precision. "How are our evacuation efforts proceeding?" "The Supreme Commander is curious about our people's relocation status." Martinez understood the real question behind his words. "The civilian fleet has found temporary shelter near several Empire facilities, Admiral. Our people are settling in as we speak." She watched Valfor's expression in the background, noting the smugness in his alien features. He thought he was watching humanity disperse itself for easy conquest. "Excellent news," Drake replied, raising a glass to Valfor. "Our generous friends in the Empire have been most accommodating of our vessels." The transmission ended, and Martinez turned her attention back to the operation. On her display, the nanite swarms had already begun their work. Empire ships reported routine mechanical issues, minor system failures, and countless small malfunctions. Nothing serious enough to raise alarms, but enough to keep their repair systems busy. With each repair attempt, the nanites spread further into their systems. "Sir," Peters called out, "the McDonald's vessel near the Empire's primary shipyard is reporting unusual activity. The yard's automated construction systems are redirecting resources." Martinez expanded the feed on her display. The Empire's own manufacturing facilities were slowly being repurposed, their molecular assemblers hijacked by infiltrating nanites. Instead of producing replacement parts for their warships, they were now secretly manufacturing more nanites. "Time until the deadline?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. 17 hours until their ultimatum expires, Peters confirmed. "At current rates of nanite reproduction and infiltration, we'll have total coverage of their fleet within 12. Martinez thought of the Empire's mighty armada, their ships bristling with weapons that could shatter planets. All that power, and they never considered that their true defeat would come from within, carried out by machines smaller than a human cell. "Send word to Dr. Richardson," she ordered. "Phase 3 is proceeding ahead of schedule. We'll be ready when the deadline comes." In the depths of space, aboard thousands of Empire vessels, microscopic machines continued their invisible work. The greatest military force in the galaxy was being transformed from within. And they didn't even know it yet. The storm was awakening, and when it broke, the Empire would learn why they should have taken humanity's warning seriously. Flee while you can. Professor Michael "Mad Mike" Anderson watched the Empire's warning shot descend toward Sydney through his quantum-linked display. From his control center deep beneath Yellowstone's geothermal vents, he could feel the rumble of the Earth's power flowing through the facility's reinforced walls. Dozens of technicians monitored their stations, their faces illuminated by the soft blue glow of holographic readouts. Empire weapons signature analyzed. Dr. Laura Whitman reported from her station. Plasma-based orbital strike, designed for maximum atmospheric penetration. They're trying to make an example of us. Anderson nodded, his fingers dancing across his control panel. Well then, let's make an example of them instead. Initiate Shield Protocol Echo. Transfer power from the Pacific Ring grid. Deep beneath the Earth's crust, a network of quantum-linked geothermal taps sprang to life. The planet's very mantle served as their power source, channeled through crystalline matrices that Dr. Richardson had developed. Decades of secret geological engineering were about to pay off. Impact in 5 seconds, Whitman announced. The command center fell silent. The Empire's weapon, a brilliant purple beam of superheated plasma, struck what appeared to be empty air above Sydney Harbor. For a split second, the sky crystallized into a geodesic pattern of pure energy, revealing just a fraction of Earth's planetary shield. The blast didn't just stop, it reflected. Shield holding at 100%. Anderson's chief engineer, Tom Martinez, called out, "Power grid stable." "Sir, you might want to see this. The reflected energy is following the quantum guidance system perfectly." Anderson grinned as he watched the Empire's own attack energy race along predetermined paths in the shield matrix, gathering power before shooting back into space. The returning beam struck the Empire ship that had fired it, bypassing their shields completely. They couldn't defend against their own weapon signature. "Direct hit," Whitman confirmed, trying to keep the excitement from her voice. "Empire vessel's primary weapons array disabled. Their shields are fluctuating. They're dropping to emergency power." The command center erupted in cheers, but Anderson raised his hand for silence. "This is just the beginning. They'll try to adapt. Transfer shield control to secondary nodes and prepare for multiple incoming strikes." His prediction proved accurate. Within minutes, the Empire launched a full barrage against major cities worldwide. Each attack met the same fate: absorption, amplification, and reflection. The shield drew power from the Earth itself, converting the Empire's energy weapons into fuel for its own defense. "Sir," Martinez called out, "we're getting videos from civilians worldwide. The shield's energy patterns are visible during each impact. It's going viral." Anderson glanced at a social media feed. Smartphones everywhere had captured the crystalline patterns in the sky, beautiful and terrifying at once. Hashtags like #EarthShield and #Humanity's Best Defense were trending globally. Some clever person had even set a video of the reflected attacks to classical music. "Let them watch," he said. "Let the Empire see how their primitive targets respond to their best weapons." Speaking of which, status of the Sydney attacker. Whitman pulled up a detailed scan. Their ship is being evacuated to nearby Empire vessels. The nanite swarms from Phase 3 are taking advantage of their dropped shields to accelerate infiltration. Dr. Richardson reports the disabled ship will be fully converted within the hour. A priority message flashed across Anderson's screen. Supreme Commander Valthor was demanding an explanation for Earth's hidden technology at the diplomatic dinner. Ambassador Reynolds' response was being broadcast across all channels. Perhaps, Commander, you should have asked about our defensive capabilities before assuming we had none. Multiple Empire ships moving into attack formation, Martins reported. They're preparing for a concentrated strike against the shield's power signature. Anderson felt the deep rumble of the earth beneath his feet intensify. The planetary core itself powered their defenses, an endless source of energy that the Empire couldn't hope to exhaust. Their enemies thought they were targeting Earth's weakness. Instead, they were about to discover its true strength. "Let them come," he said, initiating the shield's combat protocols. "It's time to show them what else this primitive world can do." Above, the Empire's fleet moved into position for their greatest attack yet, unaware that every shot they fired would only make Earth's defenses stronger. The thunder was about to strike back. Captain Sarah "Phantom" Morrison sat in the cockpit of her Wraith-class fighter, hidden within the cargo hold of what appeared to be a fleeing cruise ship. The Northern Lights vacation liner drifted near one of the Empire's largest dreadnoughts, broadcasting the same distress signals as thousands of other civilian vessels scattered across the battlefield. "Ghost Squadron, sound off," she whispered into her neural link. One by one, 20 acknowledgement lights winked green in her augmented vision. Her pilots had trained for years in the secret facilities beneath Europa's ice, mastering technology that the Empire had dismissed as theoretically impossible. "Command confirms the shield network is holding," her wingman, Lieutenant Daniel "Shadow" Rodriguez, reported through the quantum-encrypted channel. "The Empire's fleet is fully committed to their bombardment. They haven't noticed the nanite corruption reaching their core systems." Morrison smiled as she ran her final pre-launch check. Her fighter, like all Wraith-class vessels, looked more like a piece of abstract art than a military craft. Its quantum-shifted hull could alter its physical properties on demand, allowing it to perform maneuvers that broke conventional laws of physics. "All squadrons report ready," Command announced in her ear. "Operation Phantom Dawn is go. Show them what those refugee ships really carry." Morrison's voice was steady as she gave the order. "Ghost Squadron, launch protocol Echo. Quantum shift on my mark." The Northern Lights cargo bay doors silently split open, revealing the star-filled void. 20 Wraith fighters emerged like shadows coming alive, their hulls already shifting to match the quantum frequency of empty space. To the Empire sensors, they would appear as nothing more than brief electronic glitches. "First target identified," Morrison announced, highlighting the massive Empire dreadnought in her squad's shared tactical display. "Remember your training. They can't hit what they can't understand. Execute attack pattern, Spectre." Her fighter accelerated, its quantum-shifted state allowing it to ignore traditional physics. The Empire's tracking systems, designed to target conventional vessels, couldn't process the readings. One moment her squadron appeared to be solid matter. The next, they shifted to energy states that passed straight through the dreadnought's shields. Impact in 3, 2, 1. Morrison's fighter phased through the Empire ship's outer hull, as if it were mist. Inside, she shifted back to normal space just long enough to launch her payload of enhanced nanites directly into the vessel's power core. Ghost 1. Clean bypass achieved. Around the dreadnought, the rest of her squadron performed similar strikes. Each fighter phase shifted through different sections of the massive ship, delivering their microscopic cargo before vanishing again. The Empire's crew never even knew they had been boarded. "Sir," Rodriguez called out, getting some interesting readings from the civilian ships near the Empire's secondary fleet. "Looks like we're not the only ones launching surprises." Morrison watched as seemingly harmless evacuation vessels throughout the sector suddenly transformed. Tourist ships revealed hidden hangars filled with quantum fighters. Corporate freighters deployed swarms of autonomous combat drones. Even a space yacht belonging to a social media influencer turned out to be carrying a full complement of electronic warfare systems. Multiple Empire vessels reporting critical system failures. Command updated. "The nanites we just delivered are linking up with the existing swarms. Their fleet command and control is starting to fragment." A massive Empire warship nearby began firing wildly at sensor ghosts, its targeting systems compromised by the spreading nanite infection. Morrison led her squadron in a complex dance around the dying vessel, their quantum-shifted fighters appearing as hundreds of phantom targets. "Ghost Squadron," she ordered, marking their next objective. "Form up for phase shift bypass of their flagship. Let's show Supreme Commander Valthor exactly what humanity's been hiding in those refugee ships." As her fighters moved into attack formation, Morrison caught glimpses of similar scenes playing out across space. Humanity's hidden fleet was emerging from its clever disguise, revealing a military force unlike anything the Empire had ever encountered. Earth's apparent evacuation had been the perfect Trojan horse, placing weapon systems directly in the heart of enemy territory. The Empire had expected to find crying refugees in those civilian ships. Instead, they found phantoms in the dark, and those phantoms were about to teach them the true meaning of fear. General David Iron Hand Rodriguez stood in the heart of Cyber Command, his cybernetic eye scanning the massive holographic display of the Empire's communication network. The facility, hidden beneath the Amazon rainforest, had been disguised as a cryptocurrency mining operation for the past decade. Now it served as the nerve center for humanity's most ambitious hack. Nanite integration with Empire systems at 87%, reported Commander Michelle Chen, her fingers dancing across haptic controls. "Their quantum encryption is failing node by node. We're about to own their entire network." Rodriguez watched as red lines representing Empire communication channels turned green, signaling successful infiltration. The nanites they'd scattered throughout the enemy fleet weren't just destroying ships, they were transforming them into relay points for Earth's cyber assault. "Supreme Commander Valthor is attempting to contact their home fleet," Chen announced. "Intercepting now." Valthor's desperate transmission played through the command center. "This is Supreme Commander Valthor to Imperial High Command. Earth's defenses are unlike anything we've encountered. Request immediate reinforcement. These humans are not what they appear to be." "Cut his transmission," Rodriguez ordered. "Time to show them what real electronic warfare looks like. Execute Operation Echo." Chen initiated the command sequence. Across the Empire's fleet, every screen, hologram, and neural interface suddenly displayed the same message. "We gave you the chance to flee." The words pulsed in perfect synchronization, a digital heartbeat that couldn't be silenced. "Sir," Lieutenant James Foster called from his station, "the nanite network is reporting interesting findings from their ship databases. Looks like the Empire's been hiding some secrets from their own people." Rodriguez expanded the data stream on his display. The nanites had uncovered evidence of the Empire's greatest deception. Their supposed technological superiority was built on stolen innovations from conquered species. Each breakthrough they claimed as their own had been ripped from the minds of those they'd subjugated. "Package this data for Dr. Thompson's broadcast," he commanded. "But first, let's make sure the Empire can't coordinate their defense. Chen, initiate protocol blackout." The holographic display erupted with activity as human cyber warfare teams, hidden aboard the scattered refugee ships, launched their attacks. Empire commanders found their neural links severed. Patrol ships lost contact with their flagships. The rigid hierarchy that had helped the Empire conquer hundreds of worlds now became their greatest weakness. "Multiple Empire vessels attempting to launch fighters," Foster reported. "Their automated systems are failing. Looks like some crews are trying to revert to manual control." Rodriguez smiled. The Empire had become so dependent on their neural interfaces and AI assistants that they'd forgotten how to fight without them. Earth's forces, trained to operate with or without technological aid, were about to demonstrate the advantage of adaptability. "Sir," Chen's voice carried a note of excitement, "we're detecting unauthorized transmissions from within the Empire fleet. Their own crew members are beginning to broadcast the truth about their stolen technology. The nanites have given them access to the sealed records." The command center's main screen filled with intercepted messages from Empire ships. Junior officers, long kept ignorant of their civilization's greatest secret, were learning the truth. The supposed superiority of their species was a lie. built on theft and subjugation. General, Foster interrupted. Captain Morrison's Ghost Squadron is requesting permission to begin Phase 2 of their assault. They've identified critical weaknesses in the Empire's flagship. Rodriguez checked the tactical display. With their communication network in chaos and their crews beginning to question their leaders, the Empire's fleet was already starting to fragment. Some ships had ceased firing entirely, their crews too busy arguing amongst themselves to continue the attack. "Permission granted," he said, "and send word to Dr. Thompson. She's clear to begin her broadcast. Let's make sure every species in the galaxy learns the truth about their supposed masters." The message, "We gave you the chance to flee," continued to pulse across every Empire display. But now it was joined by something even more devastating. The truth. The Empire's crown of technological supremacy was about to shatter, broken not by weapons, but by the weight of their own lies. Dr. Rachel Oracle Thompson sat in her quantum-secured broadcast studio, carved deep into the Rocky Mountains. Holographic screens surrounded her, displaying real-time feeds from hundreds of Empire vessels. The Nanite network had given them unprecedented access to the Empire's most closely guarded secrets, and she was about to share them with the galaxy. Final checks on the quantum transmitters, her technical director, Mark Winters, announced. "We're piggybacking on their own communication network. Thanks to the Nanites, every Empire world will receive this broadcast simultaneously." Thompson nodded, reviewing the evidence one last time. The data streams told a story of systematic theft and suppression spanning thousands of years. The Empire's great technological leaps weren't achievements. They were plunder. "Begin transmission," she commanded. Her image appeared across every Empire screen, every neural interface, and every colonial broadcast system. "People of the galaxy, I am Dr. Rachel Thompson of Earth. The Empire has lied to you all." With a gesture, she brought up the first piece of evidence, blueprints for the Empire's revolutionary faster-than-light drive. This technology wasn't developed by Empire scientists. It was stolen from the Centauri Republic before they were conquered. The original inventor was executed, and her work was claimed by Imperial Engineering. More evidence flowed across the screens. The Empire's neural interfaces, stolen from the silicon mines of Proxima. Their quantum shields, ripped from the peaceful, harmonious collective. Their terraforming systems, taken from the now-extinct builders of Vega. "Your masters aren't superior beings," Thompson continued, her voice carrying to every corner of the Empire. "They're thieves who built their power by stealing the achievements of others and destroying the evidence. But they couldn't destroy everything. The Nanite network we've spread throughout their fleet has recovered the truth. In Empire colonies across the galaxy, suppressed species watched in growing anger as their lost histories were revealed. The silicon mines learned how their greatest achievement had been stolen rather than surrendered. The harmonious collective saw proof that their willing submission had been engineered through sabotage. Lieutenant Foster is reporting multiple uprisings on Empire worlds, Winters announced quietly. The colonial defense forces are turning against their commanders. Some entire sectors are declaring independence. Thompson brought up her next piece of evidence, classified footage from Earth's first contact with the Empire. "They expected us to be like all the others, isolated, specialized, focused on single technologies they could steal. Instead, they found this." The screen showed Empire scouts discovering Earth's decentralized innovation network. Unlike other species, humans hadn't developed their technology in isolation. They'd built it through competition, cooperation, and countless parallel efforts. There was no single source to steal, no central database to plunder. "Humanity's strength isn't in any single technology," Thompson explained. "It's in our ability to innovate, to compete, to share ideas, and build upon them. We don't need to steal advancement. We create it. And now we're offering that same freedom to every species in the galaxy." She gestured again, and the broadcast shifted to live feeds from the battle above Earth. Empire ships hung powerless in space, their stolen technology turned against them by the nanite swarms. Ghost Squadron fighters phased through their defenses at will. The planetary shield reflected their most powerful weapons back at them. Your empire tells you they alone can provide advanced technology, Thompson continued. They're wrong. Earth is offering something far more valuable. The freedom to innovate for yourselves. We'll share our knowledge openly, teach you our methods, and help you reclaim your stolen legacy of innovation. Reports flooded in from across the empire. Colonial governments were declaring independence. Long-suppressed resistance movements emerged from hiding. Empire loyalists found themselves surrounded by species they'd thought thoroughly subjugated. To the Empire's leadership, Thompson concluded, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's resolve. We warned you to flee while you could. Now you face a choice. Adapt to a galaxy of equals, or fade into history as another empire that mistook theft for strength. The transmission ended, but its effect was only beginning. Across the galaxy, species that had lived under the Empire's shadow for centuries were rising up. The crown was broken, and its stolen jewels were being reclaimed by their rightful owners. Director Jack Kingmaker Sullivan stood at the podium in the newly constructed Galactic Assembly, its crystalline dome stretching above the restored skyline of Geneva. 6 months had passed since the Empire's failed invasion of Earth, and the galaxy had transformed more rapidly than anyone had predicted. The Transition Council recognizes the representative from the silicon mines of Proxima, Sullivan announced, watching as their holographic delegate materialized. The artificial intelligence, once forced to serve as the Empire's neural interface designers, now led their own sovereign civilization again. Earth's open innovation network has allowed us to advance our consciousness transfer technology beyond anything the Empire permitted. The delegate's synthesized voice carried notes of both pride and gratitude. We vote in favor of the proposed technology exchange initiative. Sullivan nodded, marking another victory for the new order. Around the chamber, representatives from hundreds of formerly subjugated species participated in their first truly free dialogue in generations. The Empire's carefully maintained hierarchy had been replaced by something far more powerful, willing collaboration. From his position near the chamber's entrance, former Supreme Commander Val Thor watched the proceedings with a mix of disbelief and growing understanding. The once mighty Empire leader now served as a refugee liaison, helping his own people adapt to life as equals rather than conquerors. Director Sullivan. Val Thor spoke during a recess, his translator struggling with his humble tone. I must know. How did humans achieve this level of advancement without central control? Without taking from others. Sullivan led him to the Assembly's observation deck, overlooking the sprawling innovation campus where species from across the galaxy now learned and worked together. Look there, he pointed to a group of children, human, alien, and artificial, playing with what appeared to be self-assembling building blocks. Those toys were designed by a human child in Nebraska, improved by a Silicon Mine student, and manufactured using techniques from the Harmonious Collective, Sullivan explained. No one species did it alone. No one had to steal it. They created something new together. Val Thor watched as the children's creation took shape, a structure that would have been impossible under the Empire's rigid technological control. We thought power came from hoarding knowledge, he admitted, but you've proven that sharing it creates something greater. The Assembly chamber chimed, calling the representatives back to session. Dr. Emily Richardson, now serving as Earth's Chief of Innovation Exchange, took the podium to present the next initiative. A galaxy-wide education network that would make advanced scientific knowledge freely available to all species. The human concept of open source has revolutionized our understanding of quantum mechanics, the Harmonious Collective's representative announced. Our scientists have already improved upon Earth's shield technology, and we're sharing those improvements back to the network. Sullivan smiled as he watched the proceedings. The nanite network, once a weapon, now served as the backbone of an instantaneous galactic internet. Ghost Squadron's quantum phase technology had been adapted for civilian transport. Even the Empire's stolen terraforming systems had been improved and returned to their original creators. Final votes are tallied, Richardson announced. The Galactic Innovation Network is hereby established. All member species will have full access to the combined scientific knowledge of our civilizations. In the public gallery, a group of former Empire scientists sat with tears in their eyes. For the first time in their lives, they could freely collaborate with others, build upon existing discoveries, and share their work without fear of suppression. Dr. Richardson, Sullivan called out as the session ended, "Would you join me for the ceremony at Central Park?" They made their way to where it all began, the site of humanity's first defiant response to the Empire. The original message, "We gave you the chance to flee," had been replaced by a new monument. "Together we rise." Children from 100 worlds played beneath its gleaming surface, their laughter a testament to the new age. Val Thor stood at its base, finally understanding what his empire had missed in their quest for dominance. True power didn't come from taking or controlling. It came from the simple act of sharing, of building together, of turning potential enemies into partners in creation. The sun set over the park, its light reflecting off the monument in a spectrum of colors no single species could have created alone. Humanity had not just survived the Empire's ultimatum. They had transformed it into an opportunity for the entire galaxy to grow beyond the limitations of conquest and control. The dawn of their new era had arrived, and it was more beautiful than anyone could have imagined.